Alrighty, you guys. We are here with the, I don't know what year it is, so forgive me, 2019, 2020 Harley Davidson electric bike, the LiveWire. They gave it to me for, I think, about a month, and I've put 100 miles on it. Can't really go very far because, A, I'm scared about running out of gas, and B, well, I'll have to explain that to you later, but I have a new motorcycle of my own, like for me, and I've been trying to put miles on that. But this thing has been a dream to ride, so I'm just going to, stop showing you it, hop on it, and let's get to it. Here. So, actually, I'm going to give you the whole process, right? This thing is so cool. So you see my kickstand is down. I just flipped the run switch here. Or the on switch, I don't know what you call that. I think that's the run switch. Then if you can see here, it says, please raise the kickstand. So we kick the kickstand up. Then it says press start. And then now it's on. So right now I'm getting a little vibration in my butt. And, well, it's pretty fantastic. So we're going to get out of here. Let me just do a clap. Nice. All right, let's get out of here. So we're going to turn around. Later, John. So, I mean, I've had this bike for about a week now. And it's definitely been an adjustment period for a few reasons. And I'm going to tell you why. The first is the foot positioning. I'm going to stand up so you can see it. Is incredibly far back. It's standard for a sport bike, maybe even a little more forward for a sport bike, but different than anything I'm used to riding. I'm going to close this so you get better sound. So the foots are a little back. I'm squeezing the tank with my knees because I'm going to let go of the throttle right here, and you'll see I lurch forward a little bit, so I have to squeeze the tank to prevent myself from getting squished up against it. So that was the major adjustment. The other thing is there's no clutch, and for low speed maneuvers on a motorcycle, you really need a clutch. And so that's still taking some getting used to. I'm not a fan of the low speed maneuvers here. I'm gonna make this left real quick. I believe this is where I want to be. Yeah. And because of the ergonomics of this bike, it's incredibly low to the ground, and when you're leaning, it just feels like it's low. So I'm going to show you where I kind of really fell in love with this bike and why. A, it's pretty quiet, so I'm not really focused on anything that I'm doing. It's just second nature. I've been riding for a little bit of time, and it's like I don't know how to explain it. It's like playing a video game. It's literally this is go, this is stop, and that's it. It almost does everything itself. So when I'm coming to the stoplight, I have to find the rear brake because it's a lot smaller than anything I'm used to. But perks of being small, we're just gonna come on in here, lane split that. You see, I'd usually have to wait for something like that because my bikes are usually too big. I like messing with people, but I'm not going to do it right now. Knocking on the window and saying it's electric. They don't understand it. It's funny to me. What up, man? Ooh. And so this is the other thing, okay? When I'm at a light, I usually have my clutch in and I rev the engine, both to kind of let people around me know that the light is changing and I'm about to go, and also just force a habit. And on the electric bike, you can't do that because A, there's no sound, so it'd be stupid to rev it. And B, it's always in gear. So, you're gonna start going forward if you try to rev it. I hope that the wind is acceptable. My helmet is not very aerodynamic, and I've realized that since I don't have a windshield in front of me. And because it's shaped the way it is, it's literally a brick. Just and then this is creates so much drag. You see, it's like pulling my head up. So that's why I got to keep it closed. But I love it. It looks super cool, the black with the white stars. Gangsta. I think, if I'm not mistaken, my tires are quite warmed up. quiet. Got to make sure nobody's going to make a left in front of me. That's the other downside of this bike is, well, maybe I'll just explain the downsides that I see from it. The range, it says it only gets 120. The way I ride it, it really doesn't. It gets like, I don't even know. I haven't pushed it to the end because, like I said, I've been too scared about it. But it's really just the range and that nobody can hear you. And that's really my only problems with this bike. Not having like shifting or clutch, I thought that was going to be weird. I'm not going to say I would personally prefer it, but it makes it so much fun to drive. It's like, especially if you're not used to it, if you're just starting out, you're not constantly looking down trying to see what's going on. You're focused about what's ahead of you, you know, because it's just gas and go. It's so easy. And it's better than a Vespa or a scooter, in my opinion, because it's more of an aggressive positioning and ergonomics. Because the scooters, I just don't like how your feet are basically touching each other. It's not comfortable. But those are my only two gripes with this bike. Other than that, this thing is, honestly, it almost feels like a Rolls or a Mercedes-Benz of motorcycles. It's so smooth. The suspension is pretty well done. The acceleration is like dropping down on a roller coaster. I've never ridden a sport bike, or actually I have ridden a sport bike, but I haven't ridden it aggressively, and it handles very well. You know what I mean? Like, this is just a fun bike to ride. I don't know what to tell you. To the point where I don't really look at how fast I'm going. Because it's kind of low, I don't feel like looking down, and also it just feels fun, you know. It's just so scary. Whee! So would I recommend this bike for a beginner? It's difficult, you know, because there's a lot of factors you have to kind of consider. The first is the price point of the bike. It's definitely not a beginner bike price point, because if you break it, if you drop it, if you crash it, that's an expensive bike, you know. And another side to that is when it's full potential, and by full potential I mean when you put it in sport mode or one of them custom modes, it's very like, it feels like my butt wants to fly off the bike. I don't know how to better explain that to you. It's very crazy. So we're gonna go this way. Yep, thank you. So that part is not necessarily beginner-ish, you know what I mean? Hit them with the what's up. Don't even use my left hand because it's an electric Harley. I like showing off. As I was saying, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a beginner bike in sport mode, but when you put it in a, let's see, I'll show you right here what I mean. If I put it into rain mode, where's rain mode? There it is. Rain mode is what I first rode it in, and it's awful, okay? And the reason why, it's good to get used to it, because this is just like, it feels like it's a toy. You give it gas, you let go, there's no really braking, you know? It's supposed to be as smooth as possible. So if you hit rain or like, I guess an environment that lacks traction, it's going to be a lot smoother, because even the braking is less aggressive, which I don't know how they did that. So it takes a lot longer to get up on the throttle. And in this regards, I would actually say this is a perfect motorcycle for a beginner, because you're not focused on, again, like I said, on your gear and your clutch and all this other stuff and what's going on. You can be focused about what's in front of you. And then, you know, as you get more comfortable, as I did, I would say upgrade road mode, you know, a little bit more faster acceleration, a little bit of engine braking, but not too aggressive when you roll off the throttle. So, you know, this is not that bad actually for a beginner. I think you could grow into this very quickly. Once you put it back into sport mode, which when I'm driving alone, that's the only mode I'll drive in, because it feels like a Harley to me. Like, this is, if you're an experienced rider, you should ride this bike in sport mode. If you think it's not a Harley because it's electric, the throttle will argue differently. Like, when you roll on it, it feels like a Harley. When you roll off of it, it feels like a Harley. And there's a cop right there, so I'm gonna start doing the rolling on and off. But I really, really like this bike when it's in sport mode. And I just wish that I could keep my range longer, because there's so many places that I could take this bike to. We're gonna fit right through here, excuse me. You know, it's like driving the future. It's nuts. It's nuts, yo. There's no other way to say this. It's so much fun. So, I mean, you know, those are my 2 cents on it. I feel, for me personally, would I own this motorcycle? And I got to think about that a lot, because I love motorcycles. I like riding. And for the price point of this bike, you could buy a very nice, almost a touring bike, if not a touring bike, you know? And that's something that I think interests me a little bit more than an electric bike. But I'm gonna pass this guy real quick. Sorry. Okay, I didn't want to be stuck behind him. But if we're talking, you know, long term down the road, I feel like an electric motorcycle of some sorts is almost a necessary item for the garage. I feel like if you're an avid collector, you know, and you like bikes, this is just one of those bikes that's simple to get around your town. Don't have to worry about gas or none of that. You just go home, plug it up. If you're not going far, I think this is like a super fun bike. It's not uncomfortable either. Like, I can chill pretty nice like this. This is one of my favorite parts. It's like a roller coaster. Woo! Oh, that's pretty out there. I wonder what's in that little hole down there. Can you guys see down there? No, you can't. You definitely couldn't. Sorry about that. But I would definitely own, if not, like, I hope Harley continues this electric bike thing, because they're only going to get better as they do, you know? And obviously, as a community, as a society, we're moving towards the battery powered or the electric powered. And I feel like they could really, really, really perfect this. So I feel like at some point in the future, maybe not the close future, but maybe the distant future, I would love to have an electric bike in my garage. I think it's just, I don't know. I mean, if they figure out how to drop the price point, it's just an economical way to get around, you know, especially if you don't really have to carry a backpack or anything like that. This bike is really nice. But like going downhill, I'm squeezing a lot with my thighs, so I don't get smushed in the tank. And it's so cool because, like, there's something I really love about the sound of a Harley engine, and just engines in general. I really like the sound. It's kind of always been soothing, I would say, or meditational, just because it kind of drones everything out. And it that guy was wearing some type of Muppets helmet. But this is different, you know, because I can hear everything. It's so crazy, you know. At one point I was on the freeway and I thought something was broken on the bike because I heard my hair fluttering out the back. And that's when I was like, wow, this is so quiet, you know. So it's definitely a different type of riding. Like, I can hear myself. I feel like I can be more at peace with my thoughts than with a loud engine motorcycle, or even a stock motorcycle, just to be honest, because you just feel the vibration more, you know. And this has no vibration. This is, honestly, it's like driving a remote controlled car. And then let me hit you with a little bit of cruise control. Why not? That's the other cool thing that Harley has on their electric bikes. Cruise control. So I'm just gonna cruise on back here. I do have a car behind me, so we'll be aware of that. Hana. It's electric. It's electric. It's so much fun to drive. Oh my God. It's so much fun to drive. Come on. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. This thing is a beast. That's all I can tell you. It's a beast. I want to get one, like, maybe I'm going to get a cup of tea, sip it, you know? This is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. But thanks for tuning in.